With iCarly rebooting and coming back to Paramount Plus, I decided why don't I go back through one of my favorite sitcoms and do a top 10 favorite episodes of iCarly. iCarly was around, it came out in 2010. I was 11 years old. I can't believe that. And I was like wondering what the show was going to be about. All I knew is that it was going to be Megan from Drake and Josh, and I was just like, "What the hell is this show gonna be about?" And I was hooked. I was like, "Oh, this could actually work." Two girls playing a web show, and they're making fun of the tech boy. It was perfect. I was like, "What is this episode going to be about? What is this show going to be about?" And I'm hooked. I'm like, "I want to see where this goes." So kudos for the creators. I know Dan Schneider is not uh, the perfect person to talk to right now, or ever. The guy's a sick, sadistic son of a bitch. I don't think that the man should ever get another chance. With that said, the man did create this show, and he did create a lot of great shows. Zoe 101, Drake and Josh, other epic comedies of Nickelodeon, and iCarly was probably one of his biggest ones. So I did decide to do a top 10 list. I excluded all of the 1 hour episodes simply for the fact that there was so many great ones that they would have taken off like half of this list. So I just decided I'm just going to count them out. I thought I Fight Chevy Marks would have probably been on this list. Um I Quit iCarly was a good one. I Psycho, I Go to Japan. Like those episodes were great, but I didn't put him simply for the fact that I knew they were gonna take over majority of the show or the list. So I just decided to exclude them all because it just wouldn't be fair. That's just my personal take. But here are my honorable mentions, and yeah, I'm only sticking to 30-minute episodes. So there's that. Anyways, honorable mentions. I owe you. I want my website back. I pilot. I get pranky. I want a world record. I told fat cakes. And I am your biggest fan. I pie. I scream for Halloween. And iCarly saves TV. Those are my honorable mentions. Here is on to the list. Number 10, season 2, episode 14. I make Sam girlier. In this episode, Sam, it's her birthday. She gets a big party, and all of her compliments were kind of meh to Sam. And it was really upsetting to see Sam like not really get praised because we all love Sam, but even though she could be a little bit cuckoo, we felt sympathy for her, and it made her want to change. And it's kind of similar to who Jeanette McCurdy is, where she wasn't really happy with who she was and she tried to change, and that wasn't okay. So it was actually very sympathetic to actually see this from Jeanette McCurdy, aka Sam, to see this type of change. Side plot, Spencer getting a tuxedo is actually what kind of drops it down to number 10. Maybe if we cut that entire plot out and just have Spencer in the background from time to time would have been good, but fine. We need Spencer to have a plot. I would add it, but yeah, Sam gets a date, but unfortunately, some bullies are around, and she even fights them. And it was nice to cap off the episode with Sam being able to be herself at the same time, still get the guy. So that was a really well done episode. Number 9, season 3, episode 5. I have my principles. This one I really enjoyed simply for the fact that we don't get to see the iCarly gang in school all that much. We seen them like obviously talk in school, but it was rare that the main focus had to do with the school, and it was weird to see a high school show without high school being the main focus of it. So it was great to finally have one that stood out from all of them. But this one is about Principal Franklin appearing on iCarly, and it was not okay with the board of directors, so he gets fired. And they happen to have two new principals who happen to be two of the meanest teachers in the world. Like these guys are like not. the nicest people, and they sabotage the school. And basically, the iCarly gang wants to get them out and bring back Principal Franklin. And I thought that it was a very good, very clever. Spencer riding the bull. Um, yeah, Spencer tries to ride a bull, but it actually works out in the end when what's his face the bull comes and attacks the board of director guy. It was very well done, put together. Uh, yeah. Sorry, I spaced out for a second. And it was good to have a cap off with Principal Franklin getting his job back. That was a real nice moment. And one of the funniest moments of iCarly would have to be Tebow messing up the donuts on a stick. Like instead of sticking them through the hole, he sticks them through the side. It was really funny. And Tebow's character in this really made him a star. I mean, like I remember when he was simply just a guy with a stick. Over time, he ended up being one of the main characters of the show, which was fine. But I really miss him more when he was just a guy trying to sell you stuff on a stick. But it's what it is. Number 8, I Win a Date, season 1, episode 24. Gibby wasn't a main character yet, and I don't know if this was what made him one of the main characters, but this one was a really good episode. So basically, Gibby has a crush on a girl that the girl likes Freddy. Uh, they bring her onto a game show, which Gibby fails because he ends up going with Carly on the date, and they set up a triple date to try to figure out where or if Gibby could go out with the girl he likes and get Freddy out away from her because Freddy doesn't like her. Sorry, I'm just moving all over the place. Sorry. And yeah, I thought it was a very hilarious one. But the last few episodes, I mentioned that the side plot with Spencer wasn't that great, but this one was really good. The last two episodes where I said the Spencer side plot wasn't that good. This one I really enjoyed. I thought it was really hilarious, and that is the cliche of dating online where Spencer tries to make a video, and all of them were really hilarious. Him trying to be the cool one, the desperate one, and then like he just gives up and just starts eating cereal. I thought it was a really great, funny side plot. It was one of the funnier ones to me. Uh, Also, Gibby dancing with another girl. It was just really funny. I thought it was yeah. I think honestly, Gibby dancing is probably what made him stick out and be a reoccurring character, and eventually being one of the main five. That doesn't happen until like much later, but this was definitely the start for Gibby. Number 7, one of the more popular ones now, not at the time. It was I Lost My Mind. So this episode's actually not on Paramount Plus, and it does have to do with the whole PC culture. And I'm gonna be honest, yes, it was wrong. They showed, maybe didn't show people who go through mental disabilities, but just the idea that we have to censor everything just because it was sensitive at the time. Like it wasn't sensitive then, but we have to stop looking at everything with modern day eyes. Imagine The Hangover if it was censored. It would be terrible. Imagine Goodfellas if it was censored. And now you're taking stuff away from people. Like, come on, just stop. But this episode is really good. Um, Jim Parsons guest stars. He's plays Sheldon in The Big Bang Theory. He was very hilarious. Him trying to escape the home, uh, basically lies to Gibby, makes him think he's from the future, and it was the first time we actually see the iCarly gang, other than iParty with Victorious. Um, it was the first time we see the iCarly gang try to. We get to see them be prior to Sam kissing Freddy. It was like, oh, what's gonna happen next? And eventually they hook up. We get Sede. It was awesome that Freddie and Sam finally got their legit kiss. And honestly, this could have been the finale. This really could have been the finale. Because there was nothing really left. Because I really wasn't following iCarly prior to this, other than the finale. So I really thought that this could have been a great way to cap off the series. It still was a good show prior to that, but it's just like there was nothing else to tell. I mean, Neville went from evil to bad, and honestly, if this was the last episode, I'm pretty sure Jeanette McCurdy would have maybe come back to the iCarly reboot because around this point she could have like say it would have given her more time and realized that like yeah she could have expand and do other things and maybe we would have never gotten Sam and Cat, which was the real reason why Jenna McCurdy quit acting. So yeah, that's my personal take. But yeah, this is still a great episode. People could still sit through it. It was very enjoyable. I can't complain. Number six, I take on the Dingo, and that's actually why I'm wearing this hat. Season 2, episode 18. This is the one where a a TV show or TV channel starts copying ideas from iCarly, and basically it's a parody of Disney. And I thought that was really clever, and they took guts with this episode. I'm actually shocked that they didn't censor this one on Paramount Plus just because of how sensitive people could be, because they actually had a frozen head of a dead man, and they make fun of a homeless person throughout the episode. Like, I'm very shocked that this one was not sensitive to the media, but it's just, yeah, I mean, what can you do? But it is a fantastic episode. Just them doing everything to try to get people to stop copying the Dingo, and this debuted uh, the sock full of butter. This one was the first time we ever get to see the sock full of butter and see Sam use it. It was hilarious. And this is the first time that, or at least in this list, where the two side plots kind of connect at the end. So I can't really argue with it. It's a really good episode. Yeah, I really enjoy it. Um, Number five. Ooh. So this one actually surprised me. First of all, I'm shocked that this was not a 1 hour special. Just based on how they were promoting it and everything, I'm shocked that this was not a 1 hour episode. But it was just 30 minutes, and it is actually the highest rated episode ever in iCarly. It surprised me too. It's season 2, episode 9, I Save Your Life. And I didn't put it on the list because it I didn't put it on the list just because it's the highest rated episode. I put it on the list because it legitimately deserves to be on the list. Uh, After freaking years of just anticipating when is Freddie and Carly gonna hook up at least once. People have always wanted Carly and uh, Freddie to hook up. People wanted Carly and Sam to hook up. We tease Sam a lot, but now we finally get um, Carly to at least hook up with him, and it was a big blessing that we finally got it. Hold on, give me a quick second. Yep, this is from season 2. This is from season 3. My apologies. Yep, this is from season 3. I said season 2. Uh, yeah, season 3, episode 9. I Save Your Life. But yeah, basically, Sam and Freddie finally. I mean, Carly and Freddie finally hook up for the first time ever. I remember this one had an extended version of the episode, which didn't do as great because people were hooked on the very first time it ever happened. And I like that in the extended one, we get Freddie going, "What did I do?" Which was funny because like he's waiting forever to hook up with Carly, and even though Carly was tricked, he uh, was blinded by the love, it could have worked out in some way. And I like that they didn't, based on how it things happen, like you would have thought like, oh, they're gonna hook up and then they're gonna continue dating throughout the entire season. No, they broke up on this exact same episode because Carly wasn't really in love with Freddie. She was in love with what Freddie did, and I thought that was really smart. And it was like, oh, maybe one day they will hook up, and then maybe Freddie will end up with Sam. What will happen? And that's what is very smart about this episode, that any possibility would have been possible uh, thanks to this finale. And the side plot was hilarious. Sam and Spencer, you could tell they had nothing for these guys, so they just kind of wrote something at the last second, and it was fantastically done. It was simply Sam and Spencer fighting in a paintball war. Whoever shoots their opponent or whoever shoots the other one first is the winner. Eventually, it was Sam, obviously. I was like, yeah, it's going to be Sam. Even when the show started, I was like, it's going to be Sam. And I love the stories. Like, when are they going to get each other? How are they going to, how's this going to come about? So I thought this was a really, really well written episode. And it's number 5. So the next 4 are classics. So stay tuned. But number 4, I Rue the Day. Um, yeah, number 4 is I Rue the Day. Now, this is a little biased of me because the Plain White Tees are in this episode. These are the first celebrities to ever make it on the show, and I thought it was awesome to see the Plain White Tees. I'm a big fan of the Plain White Tees, so can't really get mad about that. But I wanted to put a Neville episode, um, and this was the right one. This is the one where Neville basically returns and he wants revenge for them ratting him out to his mom, and he basically just completely hacks the show, and they're trying everything to fight him, to uh, get him to stop fighting or hacking the show, and then they get a guy from the military who's a friend of Sam and Spencer's, or Carly and Spencer's dad, and they eventually do get revenge with having Neville tied to a rope and just them just spinning him. It was really funny. I thought it was a very clever one. And again, the Plain White Tees, after Spencer saved the singer, it was great to see the Plain White Tees after all be on the show. That's number 4. I Rule the Day, season 1, episode 11. Number 3. Now, number 3 is a very divisive one, um just because some people didn't like who played Sam's mom, but I thought it was a perfect casting. Number 3 is I, Sam's Mom, season 4, episode 2. This is the one where Jane Lynch guest stars as Sam's mom. I thought, honestly, just based on the budget that these shows do, I really thought that the actress that was going to play Sam's mom eventually was going to be Leigh Alley Baker, who plays Amy Duncan in Good Luck Charlie. I thought that's who they were going to cast. They went all out. They got Jane Lynch to play Sam's mom. Now, unfortunately, we never got to see her again. This is the one-time appearance. I mean, it's Jane Lynch, so she's pretty pricey. And she was hilarious. I was like, yeah, that naturally feels like that could be Sam's mom. It's like, yeah, who else would have been? And it was funny to see them locked in the room, and Carly's trying to fix him, and she just freaks out because she can't do with small spaces. And then the side plot with Spencer, or not Spencer, Freddie, kidnap or catching a criminal on camera for the first time, and then him getting exposed on the news. He hides at Carly's house, and since Sam's dealing with the mom, everybody's staying at Carly's house, and they're just losing it. Spencer tries everything to get them out, and the security guard, I forgot the name of the security guard, but that guy was hilarious, where he breaks the snow cone maker from Spencer, and then he's like, oh, what, can I have a snow cone? No, you broke it. And that guy was hilarious. Everything about this episode was really just, it just made me laugh. It was just pure gold funny, and that was just really good. Number 3, season 3, episode 3. It's a lot of threes. Yeah. This is my second favorite episode. The second favorite episode of mine is I Speed Date. Why this one in particular? And I'm gonna just say right now, the reason why this is not number one is because of one thing that happened that could have happened on this episode. If one little thing was switched in this episode, it would have made number one. I'll talk about it later. But let's just talk about the episode. So Spencer gets into exercising. He gets a little thing that tells him what to do for a while, and then he just does that exercise for like 10 seconds, and then it'll continuously go over and over and over. Now, and honestly, great job on Jerry Trainer. That was a really funny side plot. But the main story was that Carly was bullied into going on a date with a random iCarly contestant winner, and they all meet at the Groovy Smoothie, and they basically go through all the guys. But that is not what was so important about this episode. And what was more important was what happens at the end. So this was the first time we see Carly and Freddie have chemistry. Now, prior to this, Sam and Freddie have already kissed. And you could tell that there was a story going in there, but at the same time, Freddie always loved Carly. And this was the first time those three were shown that. And that ending kind of made me cry because Freddie and Carly are dancing. Sam walks in and then just walks out. There is one particular reason why this is not number one, and it had to do with a missed opportunity that could have made this one of the best Nickelodeon episodes ever of any show. But it was so Sam was forced to take Gibby to the dance because of the forced groovy smoothie iCarly contest thing. And when after Gibby rejected Sam, uh, Sam chases him off, but Sam ends up going to see Gibby, and turns out that Gibby has a girlfriend, which I thought they could have still had that, but I think they missed a big opportunity in that conversation with Gibby and Sam, where Gibby could go like, "No, I don't want to go with you," and and I know you don't want to go with me. And Sam's like, "What makes you think I don't want to go with you?" And Gibby goes, "Cause you like Freddy." And she goes, "No, I don't." "Yes, you do. I know how you pretend that you want to hurt him, but deep down you love him, and it just bothers you that he loves Carly." If they said that, this would have been the number one on this list. And it kind of hurts the ending because we never had that dialogue where um where Sam exposes that she loves Freddy. Now, if you're a big iCarly fan, you kind of have to think about it. It's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure Sam's heartbroken in that scene, but you can't tell because we never got any hints of Sam falling for Freddy or even had that little bit of dialogue. If Gibby were to say that to Sam in this episode, this would have been number one. It was a very missed opportunity. It is still a fantastic episode, but it's not my number one. And if it was my number one, if they had that dialogue, it really could have been number one. It was that damn good. But my number one is back from season one, episode 19. I got detention. This one was very good because, you know, things don't go your way. Things happen in life where they mess up, you know, your plans get messed up, and freaking um what's it called, Sam gets detention, and it's unfortunate because it was the 50th web show spectacular for iCarly. It was going to be a big show, and unfortunately Sam got detention. So what did they end up doing? They had Carly and Freddie try to get detention. Carly got it at the very last second, and then Freddie unfortunately couldn't. and then they all had to play everything from scratch. And it was good to see an episode where they try to improv everything, and it kind of teaches you about, things don't go your way and you gotta improv. And part of the reason why this is number one is because the teacher who plays it, I can't find the guy's name. He was in the I Have Two Principles episode that was in this list. But the guy is really funny. Like him, just like so goofy and cartoony. He was just so funny when he goes like, "I hate children laughter. I thought you hated your wife. Her too." Like that guy was just really funny. Spencer doesn't do much in this episode. He basically just sits on a big coffee cup for the whole episode. That's really all he does. But this didn't need to focus on that. This one needed to focus on the iCarly gang, and then just improving and just having fun. And it was just a good episode, and honestly one of the funniest ones. Like, of all the plots that could have happened in this show, and I'm not just putting it at number one because of what I said about my number two is that it was missing that one dialogue. No, I think that this one would have still been up there. Like, it definitely would have been number two if that dialogue I just said. But this one is honestly just very funny, just very entertaining. I really enjoy it. And this was the first iCarly episode that I watched that just made me just have fun. Like, I wasn't thinking of like all of the serious moments. This was just classic Nickelodeon. It was just very fun. So can't really complain about that. So yep, that's my list of favorite iCarly episodes. Are you guys ready for the reboot? What are some that I missed? What are some that I could have said? I know a lot of people might say um, the one where they go to a wedding. I never liked that episode. It's just, I mean, it's popular because it's the one where Miranda Cosgrove sings, but I never liked it just because like the people who get married are kind of annoying. Like the guy was so cool, goofy, and the lady was just annoying. It's just like, yeah, just get married, you losers. Like, but yeah, I thought this one was a very fun list to go through, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. So, anyways, that's it. It's me, the ALE double X Prince. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and until then, I'm out.